set us up to go live. So we should be live on Facebook. And I'm just double checking here. Yeah, perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. I was just saying thank you for joining us. This is our very last Marketing Outside the Box of 2021. I am not at the beach. I am just utilizing one of the virtual backgrounds because I feel like I should be at the beach. So there we are. But it's good to see some of your names on the screen. And I know we have a few others waiting to join us, but we're gonna go ahead and get started to make the most of the hour as much as possible. So for those, I think I only see one new name so far, but for those that are with us for the first time, so nice to meet you virtually. I am Magdalene Yacinth. I serve as the Interim Executive Director of Hustle Winston-Salem, which is a nonprofit organization located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we focus on inclusive entrepreneurship. This particular program that you're at today, Marketing Outside the Box, is one of our weekly programs. And we've hosted it for a number of years now, maybe 4 or 5 years. And this month, every December, we only do the first 2 weeks as we roll into the holiday season and prepare for the new year. So I'm really, really excited. If you haven't been with us and you're interested in past Marketing Outside the Box sessions, feel free to visit our Facebook page, and pretty soon they'll all be on our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to get it all there. And if you ever need any of the presentations to match any of the videos, please send us an email at hustlewsinfo@gmail.com. Tony or Tasha will drop that link in the chat for you. That email address, in the chat for you, so that you can definitely get those presentations at your leisure. Before I hand it over to Tony, our presenter for today, I just want to make a few mentions of things. If you receive our newsletter, please feel free to look at today's newsletter and look at some of the funding resources that are available. A lot of them have a due date of next Monday, the 6th. So definitely want you to take advantage of that as an entrepreneur or a business owner. And there are a lot of programmatic resources in there this week as well. There's a program today, you all may remember, I think we covered Instagram 2 months ago, and we kind of quickly just showed you the basics of Reels. There is a program this afternoon at 3 p.m. where they're really diving into Reels. So if you need more education around that, definitely want you to take advantage of that program. It's hosted by I Fund Women. So please go into our newsletter, register, and even if you can't attend, register. So hopefully they'll send you the recording and you can view it later, okay? So just wanted to highlight both of those because I think they're beneficial to this particular program. The last thing in our newsletter that I want to bring to your attention is a video where you hear from entrepreneurs in our community, where Lorena herself is in that video. So if you haven't had a chance to view it, please take a look at it. We'll highlight entrepreneurs for the rest of the month in our newsletter from that particular video. So definitely want you to check it out. And with that, I forgot to tell you, Marketing Outside the Box, in addition to Hustle, it's hosted in partnership with the Foresight Tech Small Business Center. We also do it with Flywheel Co-working, which is here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We are actually exploring what we'll do in 2022. We've been virtual since March of 2020. And we are hoping to go hybrid in 2022 so that our community that's not in Winston-Salem or not in the Triad area can still join us, Marketing Outside the Box, because we built a wonderful community outside of here. But also for those that are local to us, you're able to come back and join us in person as long as Omicron or whatever other variant of COVID allows us to do so. So we'll definitely keep you posted. That's why one of the main reasons we take those last 2 weeks off. We do a lot of planning during that time. So you'll definitely get those updates. So just keep your eyes open for our newsletter. Some of the things if time allows, that we'll discuss next week is some of the things you want us to talk about during Marketing Outside the Box next year. So it should be very, very, very informational, impactful, but yet informal. With that, I'm going to, for real, be quiet this time and hand it over to Tony today. We are covering questions and answers for the marketing year. Today particularly, she'll do an overview of our year, as well as provide you with a plan for you to review your marketing this year. We will send that document to you that she's going to review so that you have it at your leisure. I really encourage, I know she's going to stress this too, but I really encourage that you use that document for your business. Like, we create these things for you to be successful. So we really want to make sure that you do that. Tony, you can go ahead and take it away. Let me mute myself.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome. So since we have a smaller group, I would love if we could go through and introduce ourselves. Just say, your name and your business. And if you're unable to unmute yourself, then you could just type it in the chat. We can start with Lorena.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Lorena Muñoz Holiday. I have a podcast in Espanol about personal finances, and it's called De Peso a Peso. And I need to change my background. In some others, it doesn't apply, so I've been changing it. But yeah, I'm also the only bilingual personal or financial advisor with the nonprofit Financial Pathways. That's my part-time job. But on the side, I have the podcast and the idea in the future to do financial coaching to people outside Forsyth County, because with the nonprofit, I get to help here locally, but with the business, I can help people across the globe. Hopefully,
yeah.
That would be the idea to those that speak Spanish. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Tamika Little.
Hello, I am Tamika. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. I am the owner of Embrace Inc. Massage and Bodywork, and I am a massage therapist, and I just wanted to come on to see what I could learn.
Awesome. We might need to get in touch with you, honey. But
Come on.
Good. Okay. DR. First of all, I love Boom Chicka Pop. That's one of the best popcorn out there. Can you unmute yourself and introduce yourself and your business? Okay, I'm gonna go for no. And then Tisha Jackson. All right. Okay, well, you two, please post in the chat your name and your business. And I think Magdalene just said your social as well, so that we can follow you and network with you as well.
I really wanted it from Tamika, so I can use those massage benefits. And for our Facebook audience, Tony mentioned the Boom Chicka Pop, because I know you can't see it. Yeah. Because DR's screen is of the Boom Chicka Pop popcorn.
Okay. So y'all can see that?
Yes.
So did it just split screen?
It's in the process of changing. Now we see your speaker notes.
Okay, well then we just have to work with that. Okay, so, but then it's not big enough.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay, so let's go back. So this is the first worksheet that we are going to be doing today. And as we can see, it's just a year-end review. We're going to be reviewing most of the topics that were covered with Marketing Outside the Box this year for Hustle Winston-Salem. And the document that you'll get in the email is going to look a little different. It's going to break it down more specifically. But these cover the 10 out of the 11 topics that were covered with Hustle. And what I would want you to do is describe how you've applied each marketing outside the box topic or how you want to in the future. Okay, so if we could get a volunteer per topic, first would be the January series, because all of these are series, I do believe. The January series was the social media, the good, the bad, and the new. Thank you. And so I would just want to hear from somebody if they hopped on any new platforms this year, or if they've done anything new with an older platform.
I can go because January is when I launched my podcast. So I learned about Podbean, about audition, that all the technical part about starting a podcast. So definitely the new year started with a new podcast.
Cool. And then what what social platforms is your podcast on?
Now that was going to be my answer for like October when we did Instagram because that's when I started with my first. I think I had one post when I opened Instagram, but then I got scared. It's like, oh my gosh, Instagram, this is horrible. I'm still not over the idea of having to post to different places. So yeah, I'm in Instagram and in Facebook.
In Facebook. Okay. I like Instagram. Instagram's gone through a lot of changes this year as well. But I think Instagram is great. And they also are pushing more towards video. So anytime you are recording or prepping for your podcast, I would highly encourage you to post that there.
Gosh, so I see other people in my same group of like other financial coaches, and they're doing reels. It's like, oh my God, this is totally not for me or for my age group.
My friend asked me about how to create a reel, and I was just like, oh Lord, because it's different than creating a TikTok for sure. I know they're trying to compete, but it is different. I would also like to provide that I made a TikTok for my business, which is Building the Boss. Nothing is posted on it, but that is a new platform that my business has gone on to. So let's move on to the next one, which is Canva Creations. And that is from the series Create with Canva. Can I get a survey? Anybody use Canva for their business marketing?
I think I'm going to participate only once because every month that I learn something new with marketing outside the box, like everything new that I learned about marketing was thank you to all the classes I took here. So I started working with Canva that next time. Awesome. So I'm going to answer pretty much all the questions at once. Yep, I tried a little bit of everything. So just thank you for all the teaching, the tools and everything that you did in 2021.
Cool.
Can y'all hear me? So what I want to share as it relates to Canva really quickly before we move on is just from the time that we did the Canva presentation back in February, Canva has also done a lot of changes. So if you aren't using or keeping yourself updated, like they've added a lot of things that when we taught the series in February you weren't able to do, but now you can do with Canva, and that goes like as far as part of your marketing campaign, scheduling posts directly from Canva, things of that nature. They've enhanced the experience. So definitely, if it wasn't something that you were using before, when you go back and review these videos, I think when we send the update, we'll be including the videos. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. But when you do that, you'll see some of the changes and things that Canva has done. They allow you now to draw on Canva, excuse me, you couldn't do that before. So there's just a number of things since we did create with Canva back in February that has changed. So when you go through this, you definitely want to take advantage of that. And I know, Tony, you have a second sheet to go through, so I'm going to stop talking, but I wanted to point that out.
Okay. So I'm going to go through the rest of the topics, and please, if you have an example, interrupt me. But the next one is cyber connections, and that has to do with the art of virtual networking, where we covered the importance and how you can still network, how networking is a part of marketing, and how you can still network even though we're in a whole pandemic right now. And
people don't think we are.
And so an example of that would be, for me, Magley actually got me in contact with an organization, and we just hopped on a Zoom call, and it was supposed to be a 30-minute Zoom call, and we were on there for an hour and a half, just networking and seeing what I could do for them and what they could do for me. It was great. This was just last week, so, you know, we never know what's going to come out of that, but it was inspiring. I have further support for myself and my business, and then I can use them possibly as a resource in the future. So I just want to highlight again, and I want you guys to take the time and really think about this when you're going through it, of not allowing the pandemic to stop your networking and how important networking is, even in the virtual setting. Next is Service and Sense, which is the series of a thin line between customer service and marketing. So this is where Magley, I believe, yes, Magley covered customer service is a part of your marketing, because everything you do can create a sale. And that includes making sure your customers feel comfortable, making sure you're providing them with the correct information, making sure that they are getting value out of your product and your service when you're offering a product. Does anybody have an example of how customer service has turned into further sales?
I was going to say, I think we should probably get through this for the second one.
It's long. Okay.
It's longer.
All right. So next is Worthy Words, which is word of mouth marketing. Word of mouth marketing. There's a worksheet for that one as well for the last series. So I encourage you to go back, and if you look at the answers of that worksheet that you guys did, and see how word of mouth has worked. We also highlighted Lizzie from, what is her? That is so bad. Lizzie's products. Products by Lizzie?
That's the name of the company.
Products by Lizzie, yes. And she offers shea butter that helps with eczema and laundry detergent, all these fabulous products. But she came on and highlighted how word of mouth has worked for her. And we will be linking that video because it was great. Affluent influence. This is the power of influence marketing and why it just might work for you to have influencers in your marketing plan, and also what exactly an influencer is. And next would be Power Engine, which is SEO like a CEO. I love that name. And it's just pretty much how we covered what SEO can do for your business, how to do it properly, and just some tips and tricks. Next is Website Wise, where Magley went over Wix and WordPress. And she actually literally walked everybody through the Wix platform and the WordPress platform, and how there is a difference between the WordPress that you code and then the actual WordPress where you could, that's a website builder. And next is Involve Insta, where we covered the importance of Instagram and using that in your marketing, because Instagram isn't going anywhere. And like I said earlier with Lorena, they're trying to compete with everybody else out there, which would be TikTok is the next larger platform. And then About Face is about facing Facebook, which we just did last month. All right. Is there any questions? Again, you'll get a different a better detailed worksheet when it's sent to you, breaking down what I just said. But if there's any questions that you don't understand, please let me know. We encourage you to do this. It's one thing to be, hold on, y'all. It's too much happening. It's one thing to be an entrepreneur. It's another thing to be a business owner. Business owners have to look at their business as a whole, look at where their business is going. And the only way that you can really do that is to reflect upon it, strategize, and move forward, okay? So take the time to review. So next is just looking ahead, pretty much. Well, looking back and then looking ahead. So the very first thing is the topic. I want you guys to really think about what's your greatest achievement from 2021. It's important to celebrate yourself. It's important to realize that this is a path that not everybody takes. And you should celebrate yourself before anybody else does. You should celebrate yourself. You guys work hard, you guys show up every week, and you guys implement, and that deserves to be celebrated. Next would be the continuation section right here. And that's about what have you done in your marketing that you can continue to do. It has been fruitful for you, or it's starting to pick up speed. And by the end of 2021 and into 2022, this is something that you want to continue doing, okay? Also, I want to point out, this is for marketing, like all of your marketing needs, reviewing and whatnot, but I made it so that it could also just pertain to your business and as a whole. So next we have, going down here, is goal met. What goal did you intentionally set for yourself this year in your marketing that you did achieve? And I do want to take you back to the 11th topic that we covered during the year, which would be work, build, launch. And that's where we built a campaign. And I walked you guys through how to set a goal and how to work a marketing campaign around that goal. So if that's what you want to use, if you were successful with that campaign, I would highly encourage you to use that in this section. Is there any questions so far? Okay. Next is the hardest hit. So now we're kind of, got to be real with ourselves. And what is something that hit you hard in your marketing? Maybe you thought this was going to be great and it was a complete flop. Maybe, it's still something you've been working 6 months on it and it still hasn't worked out. What is the hardest thing that has hardest and probably most devastating thing within your marketing that has happened? I think it's very important for you to look at that so you can analyze it and move towards better progress in the future. Next is loved and lost. And that is about something that you loved to do in your marketing, but it's just not working for you. Again, this is important to look at because maybe you just need to tweak some things, or maybe it is something that you need to let go of. It might be fun for you, but it's not successful to your business. It's not effective. And then finally, we have looking forward. And that is about what is something within your marketing, within your branding that you want to take into 2022 without a doubt. You want to try it. It looked fun. You just didn't have the time for it this year. We're going to put that right here. So if we could just get one person to pick one of the boxes, I would love to hear anything you have to say. It doesn't have to be polished and perfect. But Lorena, I'm sorry to pick on you, but you're who I see. Could you go first?
To answer every one of these questions?
No. You can just pick one.
I'll pick one. The achievement, definitely. Just a little background on when I lost my job last year, it was devastating and I didn't know what I was going to do. But then I realized that I had so much information to share, but there was not much in Spanish. So I realized that I could share what I've learned on financial independence. And I decided that podcast was going to be something bigger because you can reach more people. So the achievement, when I realized that that's what I wanted to do, it took me like from September till December to learn to feel comfortable in front of the mic and learn the ins and out of the technical part. And so the biggest achievement was to launch and have my first season there. And so definitely I feel like it was a big achievement to be out in the world of the podcasts.
Yes, congratulations. It is, and I applaud you for not only starting, but continuing to do it, even though it was awkward and even though it was a little difficult. Yes, congratulations. I love to see it.
Thank you.
I want to go, but can you tell me hardest hit again? Because that's the one I think I want to do. I'm trying to decide between that one and continuation, but I want to make sure I understand it.
So hardest hit is something that just really hits you hard in marketing or your business. Something probably that you had your hopes for and it just didn't work out, or something that you put a lot of money in, but it still just didn't work out. It just hit the hardest. It's a mistake that you could learn from possibly, which is want to take into the new year.
Okay.
We can't hear you. You are muted.
I just realized I was still muted. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Tony and I are in the same space, so trying to make sure our audio don't echo is interesting. But I think I actually want to touch a little bit on both really quickly. So from the hardest hit standpoint, so there were a few marketing campaigns that we at Hustle wanted to do this year, focused on entrepreneurs that we work with and things of that nature, particularly on our our Instagram platform. And we just did not have the capacity to do so as far as like a specific person that was managing our marketing efforts. So we have not done that yet. And it is, to me, our hardest hit, because at the end of the day, telling entrepreneurial stories is very important to us. So for me and for Hustle, that has been one of the hardest hit that I think about. But it also plays into continuation, which is why I wanted to make sure I understood both, because it's not something that we are not going to do. It's something that we want to continue. I don't know if you all remember, in the beginning of this year, we did start off the year telling some of those stories. If you visit our Instagram page, you'll see where we had a focus on, I think it was 6 or 7 entrepreneurs that we had a marketing campaign focused on who they are, what they've accomplished, what their business is, etc. And we wanted to continue that every quarter for the rest of the year, and it just didn't happen that way. But it's something that we want to continue in the new year. We're pretty much big on video storytelling, so that has played a role in it being a hard hit, because video, we don't, well, now that Reels exist, we could probably figure out quicker ways to do it as opposed to the productions that we were doing. So we'll see what happens in 2022, but that is an example of our hardest hit versus something that we want to continue. And I guess it fits into looking forward. I don't know, maybe.
Okay. I do want to say one thing that Magley did that I loved is she made the worksheet her own. So yes, like, don't think that, okay, because this is in one section, it can't go in another section. They can absolutely overlap. But also I do want to clarify that looking forward is something new, right? So continuation is something that you did in the new year, and you're going to take into 2022. Looking forward is something new, just brand spanking new. Okay. Tamika, can you go next?
Yes, I can. I'm gonna do loved and lost. I absolutely love doing what I do, massaging people and
Hello,
helping them.
she unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Oh, China, we got all technical.
She might be far away from the microphone or using the wrong microphone.
Right, it's not just me.
Well, I'm muted, so.
Oh, okay.
Or DR.
Okay, yes, Tamika, we're gonna come back to you. DR. Or Kim, either one. Okay. Yep.
If you're talking about Kim Delaney, I just jumped on. I don't really know what's going on, so I don't feel comfortable
Oh,
going.
it is me. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I had my computer muted so that me and Max didn't interrupt. Lord, I apologize. So, Tamika, you probably were talking. I heard. It's all fine.
It's okay. I understand. I had chose loved and lost. And I love doing what I do as far as massaging and helping people feel their best by relaxing their muscles. But I did lose some customers because of this stinky coronavirus still going on.
Tamika, could you speak a little louder? I'm sorry.
They didn't feel comfortable being touched, so I lose a little bit of my customers this year, but I look forward to gaining more. And we're gonna have, well, I'm actually going back to school to become an esthetician so we can start doing facials. So that's what I'm looking forward to as well.
Okay. So yes, your volume's just a little low. So what I believe I heard was you did loved and lost, and you had a problem maintaining your business, which you love, the massaging and relaxing people. But because of the pandemic, you lost a few customers because people just didn't feel comfortable with the way the world was in the close proximity. Is that correct? Okay. That's so unfortunate. It's okay, but you're going to school for esthetician. I love that you already have the drive to keep going, the ambition to keep going and just change some things around. And it could possibly be because you did this reflection, it could possibly be that you might need to shift your customer, your target market just a little bit. So I hope you can look at this once you guys filled it out, look at this with a strategic eye and be like, okay, just because I loved and lost it doesn't mean that it's over, Absolutely. Great. Okay. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm sure I'll hear you this time. Do you want to go? Kim Delaney?
Hi. I do not want to go because I have no idea what's going on. I just jumped on like 3 minutes ago, and this is my first session. So yeah.
Oh, welcome, Kim.
Thank you.
This is marking outside the box, but this is the end of the year. So we usually do like a wrap up for the last 2 sessions. This is the first of the last 2. So this year we're going over a questionnaire, and you'll get this questionnaire in your email because you registered. But we're just pretty much doing a year review of everything marketing wise. But like I said earlier, that this could also be used for your business. So greatest achievement is just being like, I know I'm the business. This is the best thing that happened to me in my business. Continuation is something that you've done this year that you want to take into next year. Goal met is you set a goal and you achieved it. You met it. hardest hit is something that you just had your hopes in and it just didn't work out. It just hit you the hardest. Or maybe it was financial that you put into it and it still didn't work out and give you a return on investment. Loved and lost is something that you love to do, but it just didn't work out. It just, you need to pivot or something of the such. And then looking forward is something that you've seen or you've learned that you haven't done yet, but you want to do in 2022.
So something.
Okay.
Did you want to?
Oh, go ahead.
Do you want to take a shot at it? There is no judgment. We're all learning and growing.
Yeah, I'll do a couple. So greatest achievements. I just got my first micro grant about a week or so ago. So that is huge as my first pitch. Hardest hit and loved and lost are kind of the same. So I own a CBD dispensary in North Charlotte, and my doors closed in August. So as much as I love the industry, like it's been a tough year, you know. But I'm also learning to kind of pivot with that, which is how I got the grant in the first place, and just kind of looking to grow my business in a different angle. I am looking forward to creating a tiny home that's looking like it's gaining some traction here. I'm in Cabarrus in Concord, and I'm super hype about that. So yeah, that's that. I think I can answer those things.
Yeah, awesome. It sounds all great. And you know, when one door closes, hopefully 3 more open for you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, sorry. So I want to say a few things. First of all, congratulations, Kim. You're in Concord. Are you by any chance a Flywheel member there?
I am, and I just got the Flywheel grant.
Oh, awesome. Congratulations. I was going to tell you about that. Well, that's good to hear. Flywheel is one of our partners for Marketing Outside the Box. So that's really, really good to hear. Yeah, the other thing that I want to mention as we look at goal met, you all, when you go back through this and, you know, even comparing it to the first document that Tony shared, you'll receive both documents, but even comparing it to the first one, you really think about goal met. It's kind of implied, but I want to be very explicit about it, is think about your metrics. Think about your metrics. I really don't want you to put on there, you know, I wanted to start posting on social media and I did that. Great, that is wonderful. But I really want you to think about in the beginning of the year or halfway through the year or in the second quarter or whatever of this year, you said you want to increase your email marketing by 50 more people before the end of the year. Like, did you do that? And if so, how? If not, why not? What steps did you not take or steps you need to take to reach those goals as you look into the new year, okay? So really want to break down what that goal met category means for you all on a deeper level as you go through this, because again, the descriptions Tony gave are phenomenal for you to think through, but really this is for you. These are your achievements, your goals, and your opportunities for you to fully make marketing a huge part of your business. You know, one of our previous presenters, whether it was earlier this year or last year, she always makes this joke that marketing should be 80% of your budget. She's a marketing professional. Now, I don't fully agree that it should be 80% of your budget, but that mindset is accurate. The mindset that marketing needs to be a huge part of your overall budget, whether your budget is $100, $1,000, $100,000, whatever, marketing needs to be a huge piece of that pie because it impacts all the other parts of your business. Tony said you can use this for things beyond marketing. Like if you're looking at your accounting, if you're looking at your business development, if you're looking at your strategy plan, yes, all of these apply, and marketing touches on every single one of them. Maybe not accounting, but marketing touches on every single one of those things. So I just wanted to point that out. Last thing, Tony, before I send it back to you, that I want to say, I want to use another example, if that's okay, that I want to answer. So first I spoke on hustle, and I talked about our hardest hit and our continuation. But when Kim was speaking, it reminded me of one of my loved and lost things. So some of you know that I also own. I own several businesses, but right before the pandemic, I started an oil aggregation company in December of 2019, which obviously was extremely impacted by the pandemic because the business relied a lot on restaurants producing waste cooking oil for us to be successful. And of course, you know that restaurants was extremely impacted during the pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. So what this year has really taught me, I still have not thought through that, primarily because we've been doing a lot of business development from the hustle side. So I really haven't been able to commit the time that I needed to rethink through my business. Thankfully, I've recently rejoined our chamber to kind of help me think through that. But what I want to point out is what they're helping me think through, what I believe I'm going to decide within the next year is whether or not I'm going to keep the business. And just hearing Kim speak a few minutes ago really already has my mind turning like, okay, well, shoot, she went and she pivoted and completely left what she was doing before. Girl, Magali, you need to get your life together and think about those. I want to thank Kim for that. But honestly, from a marketing standpoint, I'm just kind of like, I wasn't marketing the business during the pandemic. I literally just was like, put everything to the side because the pandemic had such a huge impact on it. So it really was a loved and lost thing. And I think these next couple of months will decide if it's a complete loss or if I do what Kim just did, pivot, go to one of these grant making places and say, I need some money to pivot and figure that out. So I did want to share that as another love and lost example.
And if I may use a couple minutes.
Okay, and so I want to, please, if anybody else wants to give their example, let me know, but I'll give mine before we begin to wrap up. And I did want to touch on 2 areas for myself. I'm going to do love and loss for my business, and then for me, and then looking forward more for a marketing perspective. So love and loss. I have, and this is actually quite recently, I had an epiphany and realized that the reason I started my business was for, more freedom, is to help entrepreneurs to be the boss that I wanted to be. That's why I call it building the boss. And to me, a boss has more freedom. They have more decisions, independent decisions that they can make and all of that kind of thing. But I had to let go of my definition of freedom. It doesn't really align with my goals, my business goals. I need to be more disciplined, more efficient and focused. And to me, that was really hard to let go of, to like be free and then say like, no, actually I need to be more disciplined. I actually need to be on a schedule. Like, even hearing schedule, I'm like, absolutely not. But yeah, so I loved the freedom of it all, but I've just realized I have to let that definition go and form a new one. Looking forward, marketing wise, I absolutely want to start marketing or put in my branding more. Exactly why I chose Building the Boss as my name. The whole mission that I have with Building the Boss, I feel like in the very minimal marketing that I do, it doesn't come across as why I named my business Building the Boss and what it actually stands for. And it just, I want my mission to be more in my branding. So branding is going to be very big for me next year, looking forward. Yes, does anybody have any comments, questions, wants to share anything else before we start to wrap it up? It looks like we'll be done a little early.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say share also, which started the year really, really excited. At the end, toward the summer, I realized that my bandwidth to try, I was producing my podcast and trying to get it out most Fridays by 11 o'clock at night. And I went through a burnout. And then I also happened that in March, I found this part-time job and I was working like 4 days a week. And so little chunks of every day I had to go to work. So there was a change where now I only work 3 days a week, but pretty much a full day. So now I have 2 full days during the week that I should dedicate to the business, to grow the business, because I haven't grown. Everything I started like in this hype with all this idea, but then to get out a 15-minute podcast, it takes like 5 hours.
Yeah.
Between the full hour to hour and a half where you start reading or taking notes of what I want to, what's the topic for the next episode. Then in front of the microphone for a 15-minute podcast, it may be half an hour to 45 minutes by the time you delete, you re-record, and you go back. No, I didn't like how I said it. Just put another 45 minutes. But then the editing part is a nightmare.
Yes.
Going detail. Oh, I slapped the microphone, delete that noise. I sneeze, delete that. Whatever. I sounded like I was taking deep air, and that happens pretty much every 90 seconds. So I'm had to make a decision if I want to continue or not, or how do I want to pivot. So these next, I guess, 4 weeks, in the past few weeks, I've been rethinking. So this may be just an occasional episode when I have information to share, not a weekly one. I don't have the bandwidth now that I have this job and the household and keeping up with everything here. So it's been a love and lost.
Yeah.
So, but I do love the portion of my job that I help people, like people that don't know how to do a budget, that they have no idea on ways to save. And so that part really fires me up. It's like, oh my gosh, more people need to know about this. So, I mean, it's so difficult right now because I want to continue. Just think, and then someone else just pay for an editor. Yeah, okay, I pay out of the salary I make, but the podcast doesn't make a single penny, and I still have. So I might be moving the podcast from the paid platform, which I'm not paying, but I'm about to start paying because I'm using the free 5 hours. So if I move it to the free, that's gonna no more pressure on having to pay the $200 a month, and then having it just occasional in my mind will give me the flexibility. Like if this month I don't produce anything, I'm not breaking a promise that I was supposed to have a weekly podcast, but I'm not delivering. So if I think the podcast is not going to make money, it's just the voice. It's where I share knowledge.
It's a part of marketing. Yes, using the podcast as a part of your marketing, your marketing strategy.
Yeah, and then hopefully that will build into, if people listen to it, it will develop into the business where I can be that financial coach for other people outside here, the county, and having those speaking engagement opportunities like I did back in the summer. So if I have more of that, and then at some point but I need to, I think I have to come to realize that I cannot do it all in year one because I'm just one person. So I have to do it little by little. Thank goodness I have the part-time job. So that really, really helps, that I'm not depending on having my bills paid by the income that this business producing, because it's been $300 worth of income. So it's been a lot of learning, but I'm so grateful for everything that the year has brought, and everything that I've learned through here, marketing outside the box, because I think it still is a good idea. I just need to clarify, like you say, my mission, my intentions, what I want to do and how, and have a more clear schedule. When I'm going to be recording, when it's going to be the time for editing, and that's going to be the time. Don't skip it and leave it for 10 o'clock on Friday. Sorry.
Yeah.
Took a long time for all of that. So
No, 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 no. That was great, Lorena. And I want to say to you and to everyone else on the Zoom and anyone else on Facebook listening as well. One of the key things that I want to respond to for what Lorena just said, several things. One, and we've stressed this all year, and I want to stress it again. Be authentic, right? In what you're doing. If this sounds weird coming from me because excellence is the standard in my mind for everything that we do. Excellence is always the standard. But when trying to connect to an audience, what we've learned and what data have shown us, and you can go back to all of the sessions from this year, you'll see we said this a number of times. The more authentic you are, the more success you'll probably have in marketing. Meaning, you don't have to be perfect in your podcast, on your reels, in your videos. Now, I'm not telling you to intentionally have spelling errors or, things of that nature. But if that happens, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You could really respond to your audience and say, whoops, spelled that wrong. People get it. We're human. And you have to keep that in mind as a small business owner and as an entrepreneur. We are not comparable to a corporation with 500,000 employees, or heck, 1,500 employees or 500 employees. Like, most times you are a solo-preneur. When we're lucky, we may have another team member or two and an intern or something like that. But even then, it's still not a big enough team to execute your mission. And you're relying on yourself to do your marketing and to share that mission and share that vision with the world. And as you plan out your marketing for 2022, and as you think about your marketing from this past year, keep that in mind. Give yourself the grace that's needed. I'm going back to the Kim example because I loved her story in that she pivoted really and was like, this is what I'm going to do instead. This is what's popping. This is what I want to do. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, Lorena, you can decide, I want to pause on, I'm not telling you to do this, but you can decide, I want to pause on podcasting itself. And I just want to do lives every single day, right? You might decide, I want to do lives every day for a month. And that's how I want to build my audience. Or I'm going to pause on going live, pause on podcasts because I want to build my audience through email marketing. And I want to make sure that they know that my podcast is there, whatever the case may be. Just give yourself that grace to not strive for perfection. I started off talking about our newsletter from this morning, and I'm going to bring it back to our newsletter really quickly, because one of the first things that I said in that newsletter, if you all get a chance to read it, one of the first things that I addressed today is Thank You Wednesday. And that's because of this last week, as you all know, as business owners, it's the busiest time of the year. But I'll read it for verbatim. It says, for those of you running and operating a business, we encourage you to take some time to breathe today. And I think that's very important as you review your years, particularly from a marketing standpoint, because you do a lot. As a business owner, you are doing a lot, whether it's posting on Instagram every day, whether it's figuring out LinkedIn for your business, whatever, whether it's you printed flyers and you had to go around the community and post it, whatever you did, like this, we just got through the busiest time of year for small business owners. This last week is the busiest time for small business owners. We just made it through it. Today, just chill out, go get a massage from Tamika. Like, let's make this work. You know what I mean? It's okay. So I just really wanted to stress that as I heard what you said, Lorena, and anyone else that's listening, because you have to woosah. That's why this time of strategic planning is important for next year. Build in those breaks in your marketing. It's okay to tell your audience, and I'll use, is it Dancing Grass Studios as an example. They're one of the local companies here. They decided they're going on vacation mid-December to the new year. I applaud them as a business. I was like, man, we need them. But also, I understand that they are business owners and they need a break. I applaud them. Please feel free to do the same thing. I know we have about 3 minutes. Tony, was there anything you needed to add before I wrap up? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yes, I agree with everything Magali said. It's very important. I just want to let you guys know that the way I set up these worksheets was strategic. So the first one is to jog your memory of everything that was covered in this whole year. If again, we'll link the way to access those videos if you need a refresher, and then come to this page, right? And after you filled both of these worksheets out, I want you guys to take a break. You know, as Natalie said, woosah, go to Tamika and get a massage, pop some bubbly, even if it's just the apple cider version, and then come back and then look at your answers and say, okay, how can I implement this in the new year? Or what does this tell me about my business? What does this tell me about myself? What does this tell me about my marketing? So yes, there is a little bit of order to it. Also, do it first, take a break, and then get strategic. And that is all I have for you. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to next week. I really am excited about next week. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony. So again, I just dropped the link. You'll receive this in the email as well. That gives you access to all of the presentations from the first, I'll stop sharing I'm not sharing my screen. From the first series of this month, which was the good, the bad, the new of social media, all the way down to facing Facebook and everything in between. That link should give you access to all of that. I want to stress again, next week is our very, very, very last session of the year. So I hope you join us. I'll lead that session. And we'll pretty much cover ideas for 2022. You have the opportunity literally to ask any question. So what I encourage you to do is work through these worksheets that Tony provided and have your questions ready to ask during the session. And it doesn't have to be limited to those. It can be anything we covered this year that you have more questions about, that you really haven't figured out. We're happy to use that time to do that. I'll have some prepared questions as well that I will be addressing. If you have questions that you know you're burning to know now, again, send us an email, hustleWSinfo@gmail.com. We'll put that in the chat again and drop it on the Facebook again, in the comment section again. Send us your questions before next week so we can prepare your responses and have you ready. If you have a marketing campaign that you kind of want some feedback on, this is a great hour to use that for. So definitely just be ready next week, because I'm coming with it. And again, it's the last time you'll see us in Marketing Outside the Box before 2022. And we're encouraging you to use the last few weeks of the year to get your marketing together for next year, okay? So y'all know how I come. I'm going to put the pressure on you. So be ready for it next week. But enjoy the rest of this week. If you want the email that I keep referring to today, and for some reason you don't have it, again, send us an email to that address and we'll forward it to you. Myself or Tasha will make sure that you get it. And have a great rest of the week. So good to see some of you, or all of you, I should say. And I will stop the live if I can find it. There we go.